right, these are your notes for percent of change and percent of error. So we're going to start with percent of change. And what percent of change is it describes the change over time by either an increase or a decrease. So I think we all know that over time, lots of times, prices increase, not always, for certain things. For instance, when I first started driving, gas cost 96 cents. Okay, now if I went to fill it up today, it's like $2.17. So we're finding that percent of increase, our change. Okay, sometimes it's decreased. Okay, a camera back then was a lot more expensive than a camera is now. That's a percent of decrease. Okay, it can be solved using a percent proportion in which the values are plugged into the formula below. Percent over 100 equals change over original. So we're using a percent proportion. So this one says percent over 100 equals change over the original. Change can be represented by the difference between the new and original values. So when it says change, it's saying we got to take the new price and the old price and subtract them. That's the amount that it's changed. So let's look. It says, use your understanding of percent change to complete the table below. Round your answer to the nearest tenths place. So a gallon of milk cost $2.79 in 2000. In 2015, it cost $3.98. So the original price, that would be the old price, was $2.79. The new price is $3.98. We first need to figure out the change. And to figure out the change, we're going to subtract these. Of course, you want the larger number on top. And of course, you can use your calculator. So I'm going to say $3.98 minus $2.79. The amount of change was $1.19. So let's set up our proportion. Okay, we have a percent over 100 equals change over the original. So I'm going to write C over O. So let's try this. I don't know the percent. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So I'm going to put my X there. I know the amount it changed was $1.19. And the original amount, so the original, it originally cost $2.79. So here's my percent proportion. Remember, when we use a percent proportion, we cross multiply. So I'm going to say X times 2.79 is 2.79X. And 100 times 1 in 1900ths is 119. And I want to get the X by itself, and right now it's being multiplied by $2.79. So if I divide it by $2.79, that's going to give me my percent. So I do 119 divided by $2.79. Okay, and it says I'm going to round it to the hundredth spot. So I have, or the 10th spot. So I have 42.652. Okay, so if I'm going to round to the 10th spot, that's here. The 5 is going to tell that 6 to be a 7. So I'm going to say 42.7%. And then whenever we answer a percent of change question, there's actually two parts to the answer. One part is the percent, which we've come up with. And the second part is a word. We have to put in the word increase or decrease. So if it was $2.79 and now it's $3.98, that's an increase. So I would say the cost of milk has increased by 42.7% in those 15 years. Okay, let's try another one. A frozen pizza cost $3 in 2000. In 2015, it cost $2.50. So the original cost was $3. Now it costs $2.50. How much did it change? Well, I'm going to do some subtraction, and that's easy. We probably don't even need a calculator. We know that's a 50-cent change. Okay, so I'm going to do my proportion. So I have percent over 100 equals change over the original. So let's fill that in. I'm looking for the percent. So that's my X. I know the amount it changed was 50 cents, so 0.50. You could even write 0.5 there because that 0 at the end is not necessary. And I know the original price of the pizza was $3. I'm just going to write a whole number 3. Okay, let's use our cross multiplication. 3 times X is 3X. And 100 times 0.5 or 0.50 would be 50. And I'm going to divide by 3. And when I do that, and I round it to the tenths position, it says 16.6666, and it goes on forever. So I'm going to round to the tenths position right here. So that 6 is going to tell this 6 to become a 7. So I know it's 16.7%. Then I go back. It was $3, and now it's $2.50. So that would be a decrease. The price of the frozen pizza has decreased by 16.7% over those 15 years. Okay, let's do one more. A movie ticket costs $8.20 in 2000. In 2015, it cost $10.65. So the original cost was $8.20. The cost in 2015 was $10.65. I first need to figure out the change. So I'm going to do my subtraction. I'm going to do $10.65 minus $8.20. When I do that in my calculator, I get $2.45 is the amount of change. It has changed that much. So again, percent over 100 equals change over the original price. Okay, so I'm finding the percent. I know that it's changed by $2.45, and the original price was $8.20. I'm going to cross multiply. $8.20 times X is 8.2X or 8.20X, and 100 times $2.45 would be 245. Okay. I'm going to drop my line and solve. 8.2 is right next to the X, so to get them apart, I need to divide. So I'm left with X on this side, and then I'm going to do 245 divided by 8.2, divided by 8.2. When I do that, I get 29.878, and it keeps going in my calculator. But I'm rounding to the 10th spot. So this 7 is going to tell this 8 to become a 9. So I have 29.9%. When I go back, it's something that has got more expensive, so that isn't an increase. So that's how we find the percent of change. Okay, how much an item has changed over the period of time. And then there's something called percent of error. So what is percent of error? Percent of error is a percent that compares the amount of error to the exact answer. So what is the percent of error formula? Okay, very similar. So it's percent over 100 equals the amount of error over the exact amount. The amount of error over the exact amount. So we have 4 problems to try here. Johnny expected 20 friends to show up at his birthday party, but 25 attended. What was his percent of error? So I'm trying to find his percent, so that's my X. X over 100 equals, okay, percent of error. Amount of error. How far was he off? What was his amount of error? He was off by 5 friends. He guessed 20, but 25 showed up. And then the exact amount, how many actually attended? There were 25 people exactly at the party. Okay, so cross multiply. I have 25 times X is 25X. 100 times 5 is 500. I need to get the 25 and the x separated from each other, so I'm going to divide by 25. And when I do that, I do 500 divided by 25, and I get x equals 20. That means he was off by 20%. He was kind of guessed, didn't guess very well. Okay, let's try another one. Maria thought the cost of the concert tickets was $205. The actual cost was $180. What was her percent error? So we're trying to figure out her percent. So we do x over 100 equals, okay, amount of error. How far was she off? Well, she thought 205, but it was really 180. So if I subtract those, that'll tell us how much she was off by. She was off by $25. Okay, and then the bottom is the exact amount. How much was it really? It really was $180. I'm going to say 180 times x is 180x, and 100 times 25 is 2,500. Then if I want to get the x by itself, I need to divide by 180 to get it away from each other, because right now they're being multiplied. So I'm going to say 2,500 divided by 180. And you know what? This one doesn't tell us what to round to, but let's do the same thing as last time. Let's round to the 10th spot. So I see 13.88888, so it keeps repeating. So if I round, that would be 13.9%. Two more. Hunter planned to purchase a video game for $40. The actual cost of the game was $50. What was his percent of error? So we're trying to find the percent. We put it over 100. How far was he off? He thought 40. It was actually 50. 50 minus 40 is he was off by $10. Remember, the bottom is the actual amount, the exact amount. The actual cost of the game was 50. So we're going to put 50 at the bottom. So 50 times x is 50x. And 100 times 10, that's 1,000. Drop my line and solve for x. Right now it's right next to the 50, which means multiplication. So I have to do the opposite. I have to do division. I'm going to do divided by 50. So 1,000 divided by 50 gives me 20. He was off by 20%. Last one. The pedometer Mrs. Smith has been wearing does not work correctly. The pedometer recorded 570 steps for her last walk around the block, but she knows the distance traveled was 650. What is the percent of error? Okay, we're trying to find the percent. So we're going to put that over 100. First, we need to figure out how much was it off. So she knows because she counted her steps that she took 650 steps. But the pedometer said 570. So we're going to subtract there. So we know that the amount of error was 80 steps. Okay. Remember, the bottom is the exact amount. How much did she exactly step? We know she traveled because she counted 650. So that's what would go on the bottom. So I'm going to say x times 650 is 650x. 100 times 80 is 8,000. I need to get that 650 away from the x, so I'm going to divide by 650. And when I do that, let's see, 8,000 divided by 650, I get x equals, and we're going to round to the 10th spot again, 12.3%. Her pedometer is miscalculating her steps by 12.3%, and that's percent of error. So now there should be an assignment for you to complete. There's 2% of change questions and 2% of error questions.